Hello, my friends. Guess what? I'm super neurodivergent and I just got into a new hyperfixation. So, no games this week. Surprise! Instead of playing this month, I watched a lot of movies. 32 to be exact. I know, right? I should get a life. Well, anyway, out of the 32 that I watched, I figured I'd give you guys my top 5 recommendations. Since some of them I feel could use either a refresher or just more love in general. I love to share things that I love with the world and hopefully connect over those things with other people. That's my goal, I guess. Let's walk through these 5 movies that I watched last month, September. And I might just stay in this little vibe the coming months because I don't know, my energy is different and movies just hit better right now than gaming for some reason. So bear with me, let me yap at you like I always do. Also, little disclaimer, it's been, I think, a year or 5 maybe since I actually enjoyed movies like I want to. I did watch movies in those years, but not like this, and not in the way that I'm locked in now and I'm experiencing it. It may have to do with some medication. This channel is clearly going to be a journey of mine, and it will have to, follow my whims and changing hyperfocus. So maybe instead of Dela plays, I should just call it Dela's hyperfixation plays or whatever. Okay, grab a drink, make yourself comfortable, and let's jump into the first of my movie recommendations. In no particular order, by the way, because I suck at picking favorites in anything. The first movie is Woman of the Hour. I saw back in the day when this aired that this was like Anna Kendrick's directorial debut, and I was really interested, but then I never got around to it. So this was the first. It stars Anna Kendrick, Daniel Zavato, Tony Hale, Autumn Best, and many other great actors. The synopsis, it is set in the late 70s, and it's, I think, based in LA, most likely, as Anna Kendrick's character is an aspiring actress. So Cheryl participates in a blind dating show called The Dating Game, as her agent told her that it might get her some visibility and possibly some future roles. She's not delighted, but she's like, yeah, sure. I could do this. What's the harm, right? However, during the whole show, it's clear that there is some underlying sexism in that whole industry, but yeah, the host is displaying most of it, telling her to just, sit still, look pretty, basically, and, don't have too big of a mouth. That's the underlying message that she gets during the first round. And she follows the script mostly, but in the end kind of decides to, show her true colors to the gentlemen on the other side so they at least know what they are dealing with, right? Spoiler. One of the dudes really breaks under the pressure that she puts on, and it's not a lot. The other horrifying turn in this whole story is that one of the participants, the contestants, the men on the other side, turns out to, be a pretty prolific serial killer named Rodney Alcala. Maybe if you are also a true crime fan like myself, that name does ring a bell. And we now know that he lured women, was a photographer, and then offered to take their picture somewhere because, oh my god, you are so stunning and you would be the perfect subject for my next project. And that is, how history goes, I guess. So yeah, he's a charming but deadly photographer. It also shows kind of like how badly they went about making these kinds of shows and the risks that they did put people in, like unnecessarily, because there was not really a vetting process that came with the contestants that went on these shows. And then in the movie, you see someone like pose objection and like warn them literally, like, I know this man, and they're like, well, not really doing anything with that. No one really takes it seriously. Not one executive actually showed up to, hear this woman out. Yeah, it's chilling and unsettling in so many ways. So you could ask me, why did I enjoy this?
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I demand to feel something when I watch a movie, listen to music, play a game. I've said this before, and this made me feel super uncomfortable, scared for every single one of the women that we saw in it, and it just... it kept me glued to my seat the whole time. Even if I knew, I had heard about Rodney on a podcast before, so I knew the big lines of his career, I guess. But still, I was like horrified, surprised, shocked at times, and just, I was feeling very, very much for these women. If you like getting the, everyday kind of chills, the creep in the coffee shop kind of chills, instead of, the supernatural or gory chills, then this is really perfect. Also, we know that Rodney did not only kill these women, but, obviously other acts were involved as well. And I love that, when women direct these movies, they tend to not be too explicit about these things, but you get like glimpses and you get just enough to like, feel sick, kinda. And I love that. I don't have to see all the nitty-gritty details every time, because like that gets really, really depressing and traumatizing for some people. So yeah, super well done, Anna Kendrick, love you. Please make more of these kinds of movies. Yeah, even though this is, based on a true story, and most women really did not get a good ending. It's the reality that we live in and have lived in. It's, this is timeless. So yeah, very well done. Loved it. Highly recommend, but be forewarned, okay? At the end, we do get a win kind of feeling, like, and I felt emotionally like I needed that. I really needed that ending to be the way it was. Another striking thing in this movie is how Daniel Zavato changes his expression, I guess, as he goes from super charming, like alluring, to really just turning dark behind the eyes, basically. And he does it so well, it literally made the hairs on my body stand on end. It was insane.
As soon as this show's over, you and me, we're gonna have words.
Is that right? Stalker Street, Glendale. Yeah, I know where that is. Here.
Oh, Jesus, what the fuck is that, man?
Yeah, well, that's it for this one, I guess. If you're still here and you're still enjoying whatever I'm telling you right now, do not forget to like this video, leave a little comment maybe with a movie that you recently watched that really stuck with you. And subscribe if you haven't. La ya. Then on to the second one. One that I know, admittedly very late to the party for. But it was Knives Out. I freaking love this, and I have yet to watch Glass Onion, and I'm really stoked for like the new one that's gonna come out, because I'm gonna say it, I simply love Benoit Blanc. I love his character. I love the way Daniel Craig portrays him. It's just chef's kiss. Perfect.
Who hired you?
I do not know. An envelope of cash showed up at my apartment yesterday.
An envelope, that worked.
An envelope of cash. It makes no damn sense. Compels me, though.
This is the kind of whodunit that I feel we deserved a long, long time ago, when a lot of shitty ones were being made. This just knocks it out of the park when it comes to like having you actually sometimes be like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming. Like, most of them really can't do that for me, because I will get into like the first 20 minutes and I'm like, oh, it's them, isn't it? And this one really blew me away when it came to making me gasp out of surprise. I love it. So, in this movie, the cast is fucking insane. We have Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, Jamie Lee Curtis, Toni Collette. It's a crazy cast. And for once, like most of those big ensemble movies, they rely too heavily on the famous faces. But yeah, here it actually works. So, synopsis. A famous novelist is found dead the morning after his 85th birthday in his big estate, where also most of his family was at that time, because his birthday, right? Benoit Blanc, the famous detective, had gotten a mysterious invitation to investigate this supposed murder, and it quickly becomes clear that this whole family is a fighting, selfish mess. So yeah, literally anyone could have done it that was in the house at that point. Even the staff, they're not home free. Everyone gets, grilled by Benoit Blanc. And he will get to the bottom of it in the end. And then what I really loved is that in the end, when every piece falls together, he serves justice in a way that he sees fit, and that really made the movie for me, because that felt like the true, just outcome for this whole thing. Super well done. That's really all I can say. It was tied together with a nice fucking bow in the end. I watched it twice this month, to be fair. Of course, I'm aware these are just my opinions, my very humble opinions, and I do not expect anyone to agree with these things. It's just how I feel about these movies. And I feel very strongly about this one, in a good way. Oh, did I mention I love Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc? Did I mention it? Because if I didn't, then...
Sometimes I stand in the middle of the floor, not going left, not going... Oh, Lord.
I love him. Movie number 3 brings us to his house. Dum-dum. I will set the scene. So, Bull and Riel, two refugees from war-torn South Sudan, find themselves seeking asylum in Britain, and they are appointed a house to live in for a set period of time. They are to, look for a job, integrate themselves in the local community, and all that jazz. But the biggest struggle comes from the house itself, because it looks to be haunted pretty quickly. Things are living inside its walls, literally, and it's terrorizing the young couple. It's also confronting them with their past, their journey, the decisions that they made along the way. So it takes us on a whole journey. It beautifully and hauntingly depicts guilt, grief, trauma in absolutely stunning visuals. And it's super gripping, the whole thing. It didn't let me go even after I was done with the movie. It's unlike any horror that I have seen personally. Since, I don't know, it's not super jump scary or anything. It's just really haunting in a lot of actual, relatable ways. So, not every haunting is inexplicable, as this movie goes to show. And the couple does ultimately figure out a way to survive and face it head on, basically, since that is the only way when it comes to trauma. It really touched me on a deep level, this movie. And I will certainly be thinking about this for time to come. I love the whole message of the necessity of sometimes, confronting your demons instead of, just taking the easy way out, running away from it, because some things you can't run away from. It is considered a haunted house movie, I guess. Although I just cannot call it that, because it is so much more than a haunted house movie. I don't think it would have mattered where they ended up. It would have been the same journey. Excellent movie. It's a big recommendation, especially if you're not too scaredy cat. Must watch.
You don't wonder what it tells me. It says I should be afraid of you.
That takes us to number 4 on the list. The Assessment. And boy, oh boy, did this make me feel some shit, alright? This was a whole wild ride, basically. So, synopsis. In a new world, after the Earth has perished to climate change, society has found this way to basically optimize everything that we do, including the process of, having children. But that comes with the fact that no one can decide this for themselves. The government has some appointed assessors who are trained to assess if a couple is ready and fit to have a child in the span of 7 days. And in those 7 days, this person lives with the couple, scrutinizes their every move, and also really tests them in many ways to see how they would care for a child. And it got really weird. I can't say too much, but it got so much weirder than I ever anticipated. So yeah, in the past I may have been someone who said, people who want kids should be subjected to some tests to see if they are fit, and I take all of that back. Because if it looks like this, then hell no. I do not want to put anyone through that. It's not what I envisioned, okay? I also had so much trouble, believing that anyone could want kids that bad. as the whole movie went on. There's no way. So yeah, no thanks. I hated it, and I also loved the movie because it made me feel shit, okay? And the set design is immaculate. The lighting really sets the mood and adds to the eeriness. And I love that at the end you kind of get some missing puzzle pieces that fall together, and you get this extra lore that kind of makes you understand the characters even more in hindsight. Yeah, I loved it.
You shouted at me.
I did not. I raised my voice.
Did?
I did not. It's not. I raised my voice. It's not the same. It's just. It's not the same thing.
Did?
No, I didn't.
It was a little loud.
No, it was not.
Did?
Virginia.
The last movie on my little recommendations list, A Real Pain. Which stars Jesse Eisenberg, who also wrote it, as well as Kieran Culkin, hello, and Jennifer Grey. The story is that two super different cousins have kind of drifted apart as they became adults, and some event made them reunite on this trip to Poland, the home of their now dead grandmother. And they go there to honor her and her memory, as well as, you know, her whole journey from where she came from. And they take this guided tour through Poland, visiting different monuments, as well as a camp at the end, a concentration camp. It is a whole journey for us watching as well, because we dive a little deeper into the dynamic and history of these two cousins, as well as, you know, the tensions that are there in every family, as well as, you know, the facing of your ancestors' past, which is, you know, super dark, that brings up a lot of feelings. And it was so real, though. Like, this was one of the realest movies that I watched this month. It really, really touched me in, like, some vulnerable spots in my heart. And it is a roller coaster with deep dives, but also great heights, literally sometimes, because 420. The acting that Jesse and Kieran do is insane. Like, their energies are so different in this movie, but you can see and feel the love toward one another. And you kind of go there with them. You are part of their family somehow watching this, because you feel for both of them. You understand them. You get so annoyed with them at times. It's great. It touches on so many topics, like, you know, war, the aftermath, immigration, and how there's a difference between the generations, religion, mental health, you name it. It's fucking real, and it's a high recommend, even though it's in 5. Like I said, the order does not matter. These are all gems to me. Yeah, this movie kind of felt like, you know, a difficult but ultimately relieving session of therapy, if you know what I mean. I hope you know what I mean, because I think we all benefit from therapy at some point in our lives.
Yes, in fact, she used to tell me that, like, you know, first-generation immigrants work some, like, menial job. You know, they drive cabs, they deliver food. Second generation, they go to good schools, and they become, like, you know, a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. And the third generation lives in their mother's basement and smokes pot all day. I mean, generally, about, like, the immigrant experience.
I lived in my mom's basement.
She was just talking about immigrants.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah.
I think this was my recommendation list. I got a little stuck in a little slump, and even in my free time, I couldn't really enjoy gaming right now. It was difficult. And then I got sucked into movies, and as I watched more and more, I was like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should just follow my brain. Because, the rest of the world isn't going to do that. So if I'm not going to, offer myself that flexibility and grace, then what the hell am I doing, basically? So let this be a lesson for all of us. Just, follow where your passion lies. And if that changes, that's friggin' okay. And of course, not all movies are winners. So I feel like I should at least mention a few movies that really weren't worth all of my time. I'll have to go through the list. First of all, there's Truth or Dare. Typical dumb kids making dumb decisions, getting themselves in way more trouble than they, should have been, with, not the best acting. So, oops. Then Deep Water. With Ana de Armas and Ben Affleck, not worth it. Okay, it didn't really stick with me. Don't ask me now all that happened. I just know that it was really toxic, and I kept thinking, just get a divorce, That would have saved us this movie. Anyway, moving to The Front Room. This really sounded interesting. And it did have, like, some good things in it, like entertaining to watch, and ultimately it left me really hungry for a better written plot. I don't know. It let me down. So yeah, not all bad, not all good. I never feel too harshly about movies that I don't like, because there's always some redeemable thing I can find. So yeah, I never take it too harshly. And then I also would like to, drop a few honorable mentions of movies that were not included in my recommendation list, but were memorable and really good in the moment for me. We got Get Out. Honestly, that one really, really stuck with me, and I loved every minute of it. It kept me on the edge of my seat. Another fun one I watched this month was Mr. Bean's Holiday. Yeah, that's always a winner for me. Coach Carter is another one that got a high rating. A nostalgic fave, I would call it. Blink Twice kind of really blew me away throughout, but I hated the ending enough for it not to be included in the list. I mean, that just was so unsatisfying, and I don't know, it could have gone so many ways, but this, I don't understand. Don't Look Up, I quite liked it. Not many people seem to do, but I don't know, for me it really hit that satirical muscle and made me not laugh as much as I was really frustrated together with the main characters of that movie. I thought it was really well done. Citation was also really good. It was drawn out a lot though sometimes, and that made it hard for my ADHD brain to, stay engaged the whole time. But ultimately a very good movie. Oh, yeah. It's What's Inside. I watched that on Netflix the other day, and I had, I think, neutral expectations for it, because it just seemed like one of those flicks, one of those horror flicks with teens. And I was, like, prepared to be underwhelmed, but boy, just the editing and cinematography in that, yeah. That was so fun. That's all for the honorable mentions this month. I watched a lot of them, and I'm glad that I liked most of them. I'm not sure if otherwise I would be inclined to keep going, but like it keeps itching to just consume some more movies. So yeah, I'm not gonna limit myself no more, and I hope you do the same. And I will see you next week with whatever video I choose to make by then. Dela out.